Okay, people, I'm back. Tales from the Pen, part 14. If you're new to the channel, please go down, hit subscribe, a little button on the side right there. You also got to turn your notifications on. You see, I'm learning more as I go along. Notifications is a little bell right next to the subscription. You press it and then press all. Hit it and then press all. Boom. Anytime I'm on, anytime I go live, because I'm going to start going live soon. Just got to figure out how to do that. I just tried to go live and it just said I'm not eligible. I need 1,000 subscribers. I got over 1,200 subscribers. So I'm just trying to figure it out. Again, I'm kind of computer illiterate. I'm not real good with the whole social media thing. So I'm just learning as I go along, on the fly, so to speak. I'd like to give a special shout out to my sister, one of my sisters, Tiffany Jenkins, for those who don't know. And she sent a lot of people over to this channel. You know, she mentioned me on a live, and you know, I really appreciate her. For those who don't know, one of my sisters, her name is Tiffany Jenkins, and she has a channel and she has websites and she tours all around the United States, and her website and channel and everything is called Juggling the Jenkins. Okay, when she talks a little bit about, you know, her life and her experiences in addiction, you know, alcohol and then drugs, and then she eventually, you know, went on to she did a little jail time, and that's what she does, and that's what she speaks about on her channel. And she's an inspiration. She's an inspiration to a lot of people, and you know, salute to her, because I'm very proud of her. Love you, babe. Yeah, I don't really talk about too much of my family on here. You know, my papa was a rolling stone, so to speak. You know what I mean? Wherever he laid his hat was his home. His head was his home. I don't know how that line goes, but you get it. You know, there's a bunch of us running around. There's probably some that, you know, that he hasn't claimed. So there's a, you know, I got a bunch of brothers and sisters, and you know, we all grew up in separate places. They pretty much grew up in Florida. My dad moved to Florida. And you know, so they basically grew up in Florida. So you know, we really didn't grow up together. And then when I went to jail, you know what I mean, we lost touch, so to speak. And you know, so you know, they live there, I live here. You know, that's just the way it goes. You know, the love don't change though, you know what I mean? You know, we got love for each other. And again, special shout out. So for those who haven't checked her out, some of my people, Juggling the Jenkins, go check it out. That's my sister. Anyway, today we're gonna speak a little bit about, I got some questions here and some things we can talk about, you know. And for those who are new to my channel, my name is Fred. I'm from Queens, and I speak about my experiences and my life inside the penitentiary. And I speak about from Rikers Island up to 9 upstate penitentiaries, okay? I did almost 16 years in prison, and, you know, I'm here to tell you that prison is not a game. You know, like my shirt says in the back, I do it for the kids, you know? I know a few people ask me about these shirts. This is just a rough draft. We just wanted to see how it would come out, so this isn't the official logo yet. You know what I mean? The official logos will be out this week. Then we're gonna put shirts. We're gonna make some sweatshirts, and I got you, because I know a few people ask me, you know what I mean, about them, so they want to rock them. You know what I mean? The Tales from the Pen shirts. So definitely, everybody who asks me, I got you. You know what I'm saying? They're coming within the next few weeks. I promise. That podcast is definitely coming too. We got the cameras, we got the mics, we got the lights. We got the lights that you can be on for 10, 12 hours and it's not going to make you hot. Oof. So everything's coming together right now. Again, I'd like to thank everybody for their support. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate everybody who supported me, everybody who subscribed, everybody who likes my channel. Thank you. Appreciate it so much. So today we're going to talk a little bit about a couple questions here. We had a question from Tanya. I think I didn't write down where she was from. I forgot where she was from. But she wanted to know about, is there any foods that I won't eat out here because I ate them a lot in there? That's a good question. Because it's funny, my girl the other day, she did some shopping and she came home with Little Debbie cakes, a bunch of Little Debbie cakes, you know, for the kids. And I told her, oh, that's great for the kids, but, you know, I won't eat that. She said, why won't you eat that? I said, because that's all I had for almost 16 years. That's all they had in there, were Little Debbie's cakes. So it's like something in me that I just refuse to eat. I just refuse to eat a Little Debbie's cake. Just something in me. I just can't do it. It just reminds me of that. You know, it takes me back to those places. You know what I'm saying? It takes me back to, you know, going in my locker and eating Little Debbie's cakes. You know, it takes me back to, you know, taking my can of soda, putting it in the toilet, flushing it 3-4 times to get it cold, you know, and drinking it. It's just something about it. You know, like the no-frill sodas, I can't drink those. I definitely can't drink those either, for the same reasons. You know, it just reminds me of it, and I catch flashbacks. So definitely, Little Debbie's cakes, I refuse. I will not eat them. Don't do them. Just the way it is. You know what I mean? We got Danielle. She wanted to know about the drug use inside of prison. And let me tell you something, Danielle. The drug use is rampant inside the prison. Inside the penitentiary is what people don't understand. Inside the penitentiary, you can get anything that you want. Anything. Anything that you want, you can get inside the penitentiary. It's just going to cost you a little bit more. You know what I mean? I'm not, like, she asked me how do they get it in and stuff, like, you know, that was part of her question. I'm not really going to talk about how they get it in. That's not really, you know, what I do or what I'm about. You know, they just get it in, you know what I mean? However it gets in, it gets in. It gets in numerous ways, you know? It might get in through packages, it might get in through visits, it might get in through corrections officers, because you got a lot of corrections officers, you know, for a lot of money, they'll do a lot of things. So that's just the way it goes, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna, gonna get into details and how and who and what and all of that type things. But yeah, the drug use is very rampant in there. And there they sell, little sugar bags like Equals or whatever. You stuff that and that's $20 for a weed. Out here they're like, nickel bags. I don't even know if they have nickel bags anymore, you know what I'm saying? But back in the day when we used to have like nickel bags, little $5 bags, that's what these are. But they sell them for $20, $25 up there. And then what happens is you make a transaction, you give somebody the drugs, and either they give you commissary or they fill out what's called a disbursement form and they send money to your family, to your people. But the thing is, like, if you're a drug dealer in there and and the administration sees that a lot of inmates are sending money to one address, it's an automatic red flag. You know what I'm saying? But people still do it because they're dumb. And then, that's how they get caught. So, you could do it a few ways. You could buy drugs with commissary, or you can actually send money to to his family at home. But again, when they get 20, 30 people in one week sending money all to one address, it's a red flag. And some people try to put P.O. boxes, and police ain't dumb. You know what I mean? And that's how it is. You can get anything. You can get dope, coke, get weed, pills. You can get anything in there. You know what I mean? And people trade them. Sometimes people who have medication, they may have some medication. They go get medication, and they'll go in front of the nurse. The nurse will give them the medicine. They'll take it. They'll put it under their tongue, and they'll act like they take it and spit it back out. And then they'll sell that. And people buy it for commissary, whatever drug that they have. Because the drugs in there is just, just like in the streets. Anything that you want to get, you can get inside the penitentiary. That's just the way it is. That was never really my thing. I never been into drugs, you know what I mean? I never messed with it, never did any of that. I don't knock anybody who did, that's on them. But, my drug, the only thing I ever did in my life was smoke weed, ever. That's it. Never tried anything else. Don't know how anything else tasted. Don't know how anything else, never sniffed nothing, never shot nothing, never did anything, ever in my life. Only have smoked weed in the past. Used to cut school, go to my boy's house, smoke the weed out the window before his mom come home, something like this, stuff like that. Like, that just never was my thing. But, yeah, the drug use is rampant in there. Thank you, Danielle. I appreciate your question. So someone else asked me what was, the worst jail that you've been in. I touched on it a few times in other episodes. Overall, it depends on what you're talking about. If you're talking about violence, I would say Kaksaki. You know what I mean? Kaksaki was mostly adolescents, mostly 16 to maybe 21, 18, 19, maybe 21. You know, and guys had a lot of years and a lot of time, and it was the beginning of their bids. And a lot of people tried to make examples out of people, you know, earlier in their bids. And Kaksaki was, I tell you, man, I'm telling you right now, man, anybody that been to Kaksaki can comment on the bottom. Man, Kaksaki was wild. Kaksaki always been wild. Kaksaki always been a jungle, man. You know what I mean? That was, you know, riots irregularly. You know, one of the first riots I seen, it was like, you know, like the 5%ers, and back then they really the only gang that was like, they had some Latin Kings. You know what I mean? And something happened where one of the 5%ers had robbed a Spanish kid who happened to, he wasn't even Latin King, but the Latin King stood up for him. You know what I mean? They took his sheets and shit. That was a big thing in Kaksaki, like getting robbed. People were getting robbed left and right for their sheets. Because you can get colored sheets. You can get, and then you can match your cell up and everything. So, like, for example, like, you can have, like, an all burgundy. Just say you have an all burgundy set of sheets, right? A burgundy blanket, burgundy pillowcase, burgundy sheet. Then you get the burgundy towels with it. So now you lace the burgundy towels. You might put one over your toilet. You might put one over your sink. You might hang a couple on the clothesline that you have in the middle of your cell. You might put one on your desk. You know what I mean? And put one big one on the floor. So, you know, like you make it your home. You know what I mean? But regularly, dudes was getting robbed in there for that. I remember the first set of sheets. This is just a little off topic, but I remember the first couple sets of sheets. So I told my family I can get some sheets. So my mom, she ordered from a catalog. Okay, so she sent me 2 sets, different color sets of sheets. One was like a teal, something like that. You know, and another one. When it came, I looked in the bag. They were pink. I was like, wait, hold on. With this pink, I told the officer, you sure these is mine? Like, wait, hold on. He's like, well, there's in the bag. I said, oh, shit. And the bag ended up calling home. I was like, Mom, you sent me pink sheets. No, she told me, what? Those aren't pink. Those are mauve. Mauve? They're supposed to be like a rosy. I said, Ma, let me let you know a little secret. I'm in jail. There's nothing close to mauve, rose, pink, any of those type of colors. You can't. What you thinking? Oh Lord! I ended up selling those sheets. You know what I mean, for like a carton of cigarettes or something like that. And then I turned them carton of cigarettes into a tape cassette player, because that's what you could have back in those days. You can have a tape cassette player and you can order cassettes. So I mean, I ended up flipping the sheets. But Jesus, my mom tried to get me killed. Mauve. She's like, they're not pink. Mauve. I'm like, same shit. Oh my God, man, you trying to send the predators at me? Come on now. So anyway, so you can lace your cell up with, you know, how you want it. You know what I mean? And you know, have it looking nice. At least have it, you know, a little comfortability, so to speak. You know what I mean? And you know, that's just the way it was, you know. But on the violence tip, I'd say, get back into that question, is that Kaksaki was the wildest. Comstock was not too far behind it. Comstock was wild for the night too, as well, you know. And you know, Comstock with his riots also all over the place, you know, all crazy. Oh yeah, getting back to the riot in Kaksaki, yeah. So Latin Kings and the 5%ers, you know. One of the Spanish kids got robbed, and, you know, he was cool with some of the Latin Kings. He wasn't Latin King, and I think he turned Latin King. Like, you know, he turned right after he got robbed. He turned Latin King. And the Latin Kings and the 5%ers went at it. I remember the 5%ers, there was a couple of them, they was playing cards in the yard. You know, and a whole bunch of dudes around them. And you see the Latin Kings, they were walking, 5 in a group, 5, then another 5, then another 5. You could see them spinning in the yard. You knew something was going to happen. All of a sudden, at the last, you know, they passed the guard bodies first. Then they went around and came back. And the second time when they passed, boom, they just formed. They just swarmed on them. You know, everybody had knives, everybody had razors, and, you know, they just got to popping right there, you know. and you just stay out the way. You ain't got nothing to do with that. You just play the wall. You get out the way, you get down, you know what I mean? Because, again, once the rides happen, the police is coming. They coming out, and they coming out swinging. They coming out from the guns from the tower. Like, you got to get down, get on the wall, get out the way. So if you're not part of that, then, you ain't part of it. You know what I mean? They see you on the floor. But, if you out there fighting and popping, it's on. They're going to come out there and they're going to do some damage. That's just the way it goes, man. The police don't play fair, man. They definitely weren't playing fair in Kaxaki. They don't play fair in Comstock either. I remember I got to Comstock. I had just came out the box. I had done, a year and some change in solitary confinement. I came out of solitary and went right to Comstock, right? Now, the crazy part about it is that I was in Comstock for a few weeks already, and then you can only take 4 bags with you, okay? They give you what's called draft bags. You pack your stuff yourself. You can only take 4 with you to the facility you're going. Everything else that you have over that, say you have 5, 6 bags. So those extra couple bags you have to pay, and they mail them to you, like FedEx, more or less, okay? They take them on another separate bus, but you have to pay by weight on what's in those other bags. You know what I'm saying? So you can only take 4. So I remember I had like 7, 8 bags or whatever when I came out solitary. So part of the 4 bags that I got, I had, just sneakers and stuff like that. Now, when my new 4 bags came, I had more clothes and stuff in there, okay? So one day I'm going to the yard. I had these Reebok hiking shoes. I'll never forget this shit, man. I had some Reebok hiking shoes, okay? And they rang when I went through the metal detector. When I went through the metal detector, they ripped apart my shoes, okay? They ripped apart my shoes, and they found the metal shank that was part of the sneaker. Like, it wasn't nothing I did. It was part of the shoe. You know what I mean? Like, they had let him in another facility, and when I got there, whatever. So I went through, I was telling them it's part of the shoe. They ripped my soles apart, took out the metal shank in there, and gave me a weapons charge. Sent me back to solitary. I left Comstock. I went to Fishkill double bunk box, which was a Maxi Max box. I went to Green. I left Fishkill double bunk box. I went to Green double bunk box. In the medium security jail, Green, but on the outside of the fence, they built the Maxi Max jail. Double bunks, high security. They sent me there. Because of Reebok, because of the metal shanks that I had in my Reebok shoes. Comstock didn't play fair. These people don't play fair, man. These people don't play fair. And this is the message I'm trying to get across to these kids, man. These people don't play fair. And a lot of times, let me tell you something. You got to understand that the system is set up, man. A lot of these kids out here in these streets, man, especially in some of these hoods, they don't understand. What I liken it to? It's like a setup, okay? It's like how Eskimos used to hunt wolves. In case anybody don't know, they used to take swords, put it in the snow, okay? Put blood and maybe a piece of meat on the sword, okay? And what happens is people the wolves used to come because they're attracted to the blood. And they used to lick, and the wolves would go crazy in a frenzy and not really understanding that they're licking, that they're cutting their own selves, and that blood they're licking is their own blood, and they would choke on their own blood. Not really understanding what was going on. They was choking on their own blood, and that's how they used to hunt wolves. And the wolves that saw it, and they would get blood on them, the other pack would come on them and attack them because they had so much blood on them. It's a system. It's kind of like the same thing, man. I don't. Maybe people not really understand what I'm saying. Like, a lot of stuff is just it's premeditated. They know. You know what I'm saying? You put drugs in the hood, put some guns in the hood, and what's going to happen? They're going to kill each other. Everyone's going to kill each other. It's kind of like the same mentality. You know what I mean? It's like how Eskimos, again, used to hunt wolves. You kids got to be careful, man. There's a lot of potholes. There's a lot of things going on out here that you wouldn't even understand. Stay your ass in school. You know what I mean? Stay your ass in vocational training, whatever you're doing. Stay out the streets. The streets don't love you. The streets is set up for you to go to prison. Let's get this straight. The streets are set up for that. It's set up, and you don't even know. You sitting there, you sitting there eating a sword. You're cutting yourselves. You don't understand it. Please listen to what I'm trying to tell you. Stay your ass in school, man. I can't emphasize that enough. I can't put enough emphasis on that. You know, you gotta stay there. And this is why I do what I do, man. I do what I do for you guys, man. I'm trying to give you guys some stories and some insight on what happens in the penitentiary so you don't gotta experience this shit. Because I had somebody ask me, man, why do you do what you do? And I'm going to go back to, somebody wrote me up, and her name was Reverend Victoria Wiseman. Shout out to the Rev. Shout out to Reverend Victoria. And she was telling me a story. It's called the Starfish Story. And it was about a little girl who was on the beach. And she came to the beach and she seen thousands and thousands of starfish on the sand trying to get back to the water. They were all stuck. And she started taking them and throwing them back into the water. But there was just so many. People came up to her and was like, well, why are you doing that? You can't save them all. She looked at them. She picked up a starfish, threw it in the water. And you know what she said? I saved that one. I saved that one. And when she started saving that one, people started to come and help her. And they started all to pick up the starfish. And they all started putting them back into the water. It became a collective effort. Now, I may not save all the starfish. I may not. But hopefully I can save a couple, man. Hopefully I can save a few. Hopefully there's a few starfish out there watching and understand, like, wow, I do not want to go through what he went through. And that's why I do what I do. To everyone who wants to know. It's just like the starfish story. Again, thank you. Thank you to the Rev out there, Reverend Victoria, for that story, because it's deep. If everybody just helped a little bit, the world would be a much better place. And that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying to do. I see I'm a little over 20 minutes right now. I just came out to do a little short video to get this out there. And I'm going to be coming live soon within the next day or two. I just wanted to put this out there. 100% I'm going to be coming live. So I'm looking forward to all the questions and seeing what people are saying and having some live conversations and chats with people. And again, thank you to all my people. Thank you to all the subscribers. Thank you to everybody who's been watching Tales from the Pen. And on that note, we're going to cut this video a little bit short. And on that note, I'm going to say like I always say, experienced people is the greatest teacher. We understand that. But somebody else's experience could be just as valuable if you listen. Salute. Thank you everybody for watching. Fred White signing off.